Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast.
Yep.
Matt's Rule Edition.
Matt's Rule Edition. Well, Husker fans, Redcasters, we experienced the first loss of the year, and it hurt, stung. It was exactly the kind of loss you didn't want to have at all. I talked to my wife about it, and we both kind of agreed it would have been better if we'd have won the game.
Yeah, always happy.
I was just like, you know what? I think would have been better if we'd have just went ahead and won the damn thing instead of dicking around the way we did. But it was a nice run to 3-0. I enjoyed it. I think we all enjoyed it. Let the dreams run wild and ignore some things that we might have seen that could have been problematic in the future. And the future showed up pretty quick. But is the season over? No.
Oh, not even.
Is it time to reevaluate? Maybe for us as fans. I assume the team is already.
Maybe. I think some of this we're going to learn a lot with each week that goes by, right? This week we're going to go and play a team, Purdue, on the road that we should dominate, right? They've shown.
I feel as though yes.
Dominate in the sense that we've seen them get dominated, but also they are a team that plays a style of ball that I think we are particularly good against. Mm-hmm. Kind of the Colorado kind of approach. Okay, so we're going to learn about how this team comes back from a loss,
and it's a road game, and
we're going to learn something about Illinois too. Illinois goes on the road and plays Penn State, and so Illinois goes out there and hangs with them, takes them down the wire. Heck, beats the Nittany Lions out there in Pennsylvania. We're sitting there going, geez, we just that was a really good game we played against a team in overtime and lost. Now they get hung 48 on by Penn State, and they score 7, right, and they get boat raced out of there. That gives you a different mentality too. So we learned something in this game. We're going to learn.
That's the thing. If Penn State's good and they don't make mistakes like we made mistakes and get penalties when we get penalties, and make the plays that are there, they should beat them by that amount. We should have beat them by that amount. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Illinois. I think their offense played a really good game. It just seems like the one thing that surprised me with this team is the penalties right now. You could say the refs are screwing us on a few of them. I wouldn't argue with you a ton on that. I wouldn't. But the fact is, it's every week now. We're seeing big number of penalties, costly penalties, huge yardage penalties, not just in what they take away, but the ones they cost us on the play made. So it's like we need to get that together. It's cost us, on fourth downs on defense. It's cost us on offense converting first downs. It's cost us touchdowns. It's cost us lots of different ways. And I can promise you we're not a good enough team to let that stuff go and still expect to have a good year. Mm-hmm. Especially this is a perfect game to illustrate it. Illinois is going to beat you if you play like that. At home or away, they're going to beat you. And they did. They beat us because we just couldn't seem to get out of our own way in a lot of these cases. And I don't want to say it's a lot of the same stuff we've been seeing for the past 8 years, but I understand why some people feel that way.
Oh, the missed field goal. A short field goal there, and obviously another one-score loss. Everything. Yeah. It can be a different one-score loss than many of the other ones that
most games are one-score losses in the nation, though. Really, there's so many.
It's more Nebraska's.
I know.
Incredible streak of losing them, right? And that, we even kind of said last week, Mac, that would be nice to these first 3 games, we blew the teams out. Mm-hmm. And you and I talked the day of the game earlier on Friday, and we said, how interesting it would be to see us in a close game. Yeah. How does Dylan respond? How does this or that? I think that at the end of the day, defensively, we were hurting ourselves right away on first down. They were averaging 5.5 yards on us. They were getting us into favorable down distances on their part. From there, they went on to have 9 of 16 on 3rd and 4th down, so we couldn't get off the field. So defense,
Wow.
part of the defense there was, it was hurting itself. And yet, as we say this, the team had the lead well into the second half, well until the end, right?
Yep.
I talk about run pass ratios all the time, and when you do sack adjusted, because we had 5 sacks. When we had the sack adjusted, that's 40 passes to 27 rushes for Nebraska. This is not an indictment on Dylan. We don't dislike Dylan. Dylan's doing a great job out there. I don't have an issue with Dylan.
No.
But should we be throwing the ball 40 times to 27 rushes? At some point, you want to be the physical team and the most physical team out there, and we need to run the ball better. But we also just have to run it more. We do have to run it more.
It's definitely a thing. It's so hard in some of these games. You want to get your quarterback going and you want to get your running game going, but you might only have the ball once or twice in the first quarter, or even 3 or 4 times in a half. It makes it hard to kind of get one thing going. You kind of have to come out of the gate going, so I don't know. We're not possessing the ball like I thought we would. And we're not running quite as good, just straight up run game as I thought we might. But I don't know that. I mean, honestly, though, Matthew, the last 2 weeks haven't been the offense. I'd hate to put too much of this on the offense. The defense is kind of let us down in the clutch a little bit.
Yeah. Vegas Jerry here goes, not sure how 2 things can be so true, but it is. I have no clue how we were even in that game. We got dominated so bad. I also have no clue how we lost. And, there's a lot of elements of truth to that. There's just a lot of different stats that we could pull out here. But at the end of the day, Illinois did the things to win the game. They had 119 return yards, so 29.
Yep.
Special teams, and we've talked about that enough over the course of the season. Special teams needed to perform at a higher level. I'm legitimately surprised that we continue to struggle as much as we did that, because this is not an issue. I don't see an issue right now of we're not putting the effort in, or there isn't the year where we didn't have a special teams coordinator, 4 or 5 years ago. Right. And it was just, they talked about, hiring Maher, the kicker. I mean, he was helping. That didn't just happen. He's been working with the kickers. We've had Foley out there. We've had Ron Brown working with returners.
Well, they're kind of making it sound like it just happened, though.
But
like within the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and
but he was there helping. I know over the offseason too. I'm just saying that they put resources, they put time into it, and so if I'm Rule, I'm
the
probably,
story of Nebraska football.
I'm probably frustrated as heck right now if I'm Rule, because I feel like he's put the ample amount of time into the right things. Yeah. I mean, he's not. He's not a dummy. He doesn't want it. What do you do?
Well, he sees everything we see. There hasn't been any real cloak and dagger. I don't think we have these problems when we clearly do. He's admits that the kicking game needs a lot of work. He admits the defense isn't playing very well. The running game. So he sees all the stuff we see. It's just a matter of are we at a level as a program? Are we at a point as a program that we can get better in the middle of a year? I think we can all agree that we have talent, right? Like when we played good against Illinois, we were moving the ball quite well and we were stopping them just fine. Like when we were playing well. And so I think we have the talent. So are we the point now as a program where we can fuse, put it all together and go on a little run? Because the one thing this game didn't tell me is that I still believe this team's pretty good. I still think this team can be pretty good.
Well, that goes back to my Illinois question: is that how good do you think Illinois is? I think a lot of people, and us included, I think a lot of people went into that game not necessarily giving them a lot of credit for being a great team, or certainly being.
I think they're a fine team.
They were ranked.
I think
they were ranked when we played them.
I think they're exactly where they should have been ranked. They felt like a top 22, top 25 team to me in that moment. Right? I'd have to give them more credit now, but in that moment, they felt like that, and I felt like they played like that. But that's not really my point with us as much as I think if we play a better game, we're better than a top 22 team. Mm-hmm. I think, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we have not been able to put it together, not even for a whole game.
Yeah. Here, Jared says, have to remember this is a walk-on freshman kicker. I really think they should have run it on 3rd down, and then on 4th down, go for it. Use the play. Dylan missed on 4th down instead. Yeah, I
it's
think,
certainly bigger than just that Hall kid. I don't mean to put it on him either. You know, it's just been kind of a thing.
Well, and I just, in general, I guess this goes back to even my sack adjusted run pass ratios.
Thank you for doing that. Sack adjusting.
More time. Well, because
it sounds like a Duluth commercial. My sack adjusted yardage.
No. This is because when you don't adjust it, it's like 35. Okay, I heard it there. I heard that one. It's 35 passes to 32 runs. If you look at the
I mean, that's close.
Yeah, if you look at the box score, but it wasn't. And I guess if you're watching the game, it doesn't feel like. Again, this is not by any means a Dillon indictment there. But my only text to the guys during the game was, "Wow, we're a passing team." That was my only text to them, and it wasn't in a negative way. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. By the way, I think we were leading when we did that, but it was just pretty obvious. It's like, hey, we're a passing team, and I know that Rule wants to be a physical team.
I think so too.
It's really hard to be a physical passing team when Corcoran goes out and Gatula goes in.
Yeah.
And
nice, good catch.
Thanks. And again, it's not easier to pass pro as a redshirt freshman.
No.
I mean, and I don't know. I'll always be that guy when we lose football games and we're throwing the ball more than we're running. And I'll get told by people that we have to throw the ball when we're coming from behind. So I get it. All those years of the Riley years and some of those Frost era teams where we would have some off balance run pass ratio and we're coming from behind the whole time. Fine, I'll give you that. But again, that wasn't the issue in this game either. That it was a choice to throw the amount that we were throwing.
Well, the issues are the penalties.
That
kept putting them in those crappy down at distances where they do feel like they have to throw, whether we agree or not.
Sure.
If you don't make those penalties and put yourselves in 1st and 15s, 1st and 20s, 2nd and 20s, like that kind of stuff, where now it's like, well, we all know what we're going to do here. Yeah. It's at least going to have at least one more pass attempt within that set of downs that might not have happened if it was 1st and 10. You're going to throw one of those downs to get that first down back. So it's like, again, it's offense and it's defense. Stop with the penalties. Why are you sticking your hand out on a face mask? You had no business in on that play. That's dumb. And I can't remember. I think it was Hartzog who did that. I was like, you weren't making the play, man. Yeah. I don't understand why you even got your hands in the area. So it's just some of that stuff which surprises me with the staff and all the stuff you hear in the offseason that I'm seeing. It's like, we can button a lot of that crap up. I agree there's been bad calls. I 100% agree there's been bad calls. But we almost have to earn the reputation in the opposite direction for a while to get these officials off our back. It's crazy. I mean, it'd be nice if they called a hold against another team for a change. That's insane.
Yeah, and look, and the officiating, it's usually pretty bad both sides. I've tried to say.
I've never said it was good. I don't think I've ever said that.
I tried to say this during the offseason. Dave and I would get into it a little bit. I'd say there's no excuses not to, when we get to Ohio State, we should be 6-1 minimum, right? Which, by the way, we still can be. No excuses to me still means just that. It's just no excuse. I don't want to hear excuses right now about the refs. I mean, at the end of the day, and I'm not hearing those excuses from the staff. I'm not hearing it from the players. If you listen to Tony White and Satterfield today in their pressers, they were accountable as they should be.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I hope that was one. Yeah.
So that there are no excuses. Like, we have to play cleaner football than that. And so we have to get better.
And I feel like that's a fixable thing that makes everything else we're doing less hard, which makes us a better team.
Yeah.
Just little things like that is why I still think we could be a good team.
One of the reasons I bring up the run pass ratio is because I think we're a physical team on offense. I think we can be physical. I think we can get, and I've seen us, I was wondering most of the first half, where are the polling tight ends? Where are some of those counter trap plays that we've been running? Where is that physicality? We seem like we didn't come out with it offensively. And again, I'm focusing on that side of the ball because I know the defense had its demons. I also think a good run game can absolutely benefit you time possession wise, keeping the ball away from the other team. I thought Altmaier, I thought their quarterback looked like the best QB we played this season. And I don't just mean by scheme and everything. I thought he played better. He played smarter. He used his feet more. He did
pretty good.
He looked better to me than a guy over in Boulder right now. That's just my opinion there, and it has no bearing on where the guy's going to go get drafted or not. I get it. Shadur's going to be drafted way ahead of him.
But
But Altmaier made plays. He was a gamer out
he
there.
did fine.
He didn't throw the bad
His numbers were pretty pedestrian, but also great. They're like, I mean, pretty
21 to 27,
Yeah.
215 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that one jumps off.
4 touchdowns. He had 10 pass plays of 10+ yards.
That's a good stat.
So he was pretty consistent there,
Yeah.
And
They seem to be wide open oftentimes.
Complimentary football that we've heard a lot of. If you notice, by the way, Redcasters, we have not been doing the normal film sessions that we've been doing. Just crazy. Just didn't feel like
It
putting that
already
together.
burns.
Didn't feel like putting that
Why would
together
you salt
for that one.
wound?
And not that there's not stuff to learn from this, but to be honest with you,
Not for
it was
us.
some of the exact same mistakes that we've been seeing the last 3 weeks that we focused on. Some of the perimeter blocking, one of the reasons maybe we don't run as well is because some of that perimeter blocking is still just, especially with particular receivers.
Yeah.
And complementary football to me means that, there's I talk about there's the No Block, No Rock podcast.
Yes.
No block, no rock. That
Yes.
came from Troy Walters when he came here. You're a receiver. I don't care how good of a receiver you are. I don't care how many touchdowns you may even catch. If you can't block,
you can't rock.
Well, you can't be on the field when we're running the football. Then at the very least.
Well.
At the very least.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least,
still,
that's true.
It just blows my mind. We've seen some of the
Kind of a
same
dead giveaway,
mistakes.
though. Then, but that's a problem.
We've seen some of the same mistakes, and you're getting your guys killed doing that.
Yeah.
And so
it really, that needs to improve. There's some things that need to improve on this team, and if they do improve, we're going to be just fine. If they don't improve, it's going to be a long season. That's the bottom line.
So that's the thing.
I bottom lined it, y'all.
So there it is. Let's run the ball a little bit more, right? Well, if you were just starting that right now, like everything that takes to be a good running team, physicality, practicing, physical, all of that. If we hadn't been doing it for the last 9 months, there's no point in starting now. That's like Bill Bush taking over defensively a couple years ago, 4 games in, going, okay, let's start tackling. Right? It's going to be tough to get good at. All these things that we're talking about here, we've been doing. I'm just legitimately surprised, like when I'm watching that game, that it felt like we didn't come out doing some of the things that we could have come out doing, running the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
or we don't stick with it. And again, that has nothing. We are blessed to have Dylan as a quarterback right now.
Yeah,
we are.
Oh, for sure.
But for us to just take that jump and now we're a passing team because of that. I don't know. I guess I'm harping on that probably more than I should. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious.
It's 3 games. It's we're 4 games in.
Sure.
Too soon to tell. I see what you're saying, and I see what trend you're talking about.
Like Vegas Jared says here, you have to have a running game in the Big Ten come November. And I think that I was expecting with the 4 running backs we have. Maybe that's where I'm trying to go with this. And I'm probably not saying it exactly right.
You're definitely not.
Thank you. But by 4 games into the season, especially against some of the teams we played, I was expecting to have a little more. I was thinking we would be averaging 200 to 250, running a game, at least 200 running,
at least 200.
And then that number starts to pull back as you get into Big Ten play and you're playing, tougher defenses. That's kind of what I guess I was thinking.
They never play out.
And we never really have even gotten close to trying to hit that. And now we've thrown the ball well and we've.
The games never go the way you think.
I know.
They never do. Like I thought I'd have an idea how the season would go. I thought someone, like you said, someone to kind of establish himself as a running back by now, and we'd be kind of, lighting them up or just getting our flow right about now, and then have some decent depth. I thought Fedoni was going to have a way bigger year at this point. I thought the tight ends in general would, and that really hasn't played out. Now the wide receivers have been good in one aspect, almost better as wide receivers to me than I thought they would be, but not as good at blocking than they actually need to be.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. I thought the offensive line is pretty much what I thought it would be, except we keep getting injured. So that's a problem, And then on defense, the first 2 games, I was like, yep, that's exactly what I thought it looked like. And then the 3rd game, I'm like, well, I could see why it's a little rusty there. And then after this game, it's like, shit, there's something, we're missing something here that we weren't missing a year ago. Or the Big Ten's really tough, full of really good coaches that can watch a lot of film. It's been a year of film's out on you. We're going to have to get better at adjusting. I don't know.
So even Northern Iowa, which we said along the way, would run a Big Ten style of offense with good coaching, by the way, as well, and a couple of NFL caliber offensive linemen, big running back. Okay, we saw cracks. Yeah, we saw some cracks in the rush defense. I guess maybe my question for you here would be like, we had every reason over the offseason because we played really good run defense a year ago.
Right.
So with seemingly most everyone back. So, I mean, is this just adjustments that teams are making against us and now they're just better at it? Or, are we not making adjustments? I mean, we've still got Nash and Ty and all the guys out there that you'd want to see out there to make the stops.
I like everybody that's out there. They're all vets. They all should know how to do this. If there's adjustments to be made, you'd think they'd be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of think I think with all defenses, but I'll just say for this defense, your attitude and aggression in it is so important. And I thought that was something last week that I didn't see. They weren't as tenacious as like they were against Colorado, say. They really came out firing and like getting off of blocks and getting upfield and really being a problem. I haven't seen that as much these last 2 weeks. And maybe it's because the offensive line is better, but I saw it last year from some of these guys. So I don't totally understand that. I don't know what the difference is this year so far. And again, I'm just still in a wait and see mode. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I don't understand what the holdup is for them to be playing at a higher level, considering all the vets and all the experience they have. I don't understand that, but well, for one, there's nothing I can do.
There's nothing. That's very true. That's very true.
And for two, I want the season to go better. So that leads to three, which is I'm hoping they'll get this figured out here pretty quick. Like they'll listen. We have good coaches too, I think.
Yeah.
So they've now seen how defenses or offensive have adjusted to how they run against us, and maybe we make the necessary adjustments. We've got the athletes, So you can't tell me that. You can't tell me we don't have the players to make whatever defense needs to be done. We have the players to do it.
That goes back to like I'll say it one more time. The run pass ratio thing.
Lot of words for nothing.
The run pass ratio thing. The defense, the way that you want the defense to be played. We've got the players. Number one. Okay. I mean, we've got depth, we've got players, we've got good.
Check.
The talent isn't the issue. And I don't think that we're asking if we're saying, hey, let's commit back to the run a little bit more on offense. If on defense, it's about let's refocus on some tackling where I think there's times where, we have guys that are trying to strip the ball, which is great, by the way. You saw Bullocks, make a great strip doing it. But there's other times where it looks like we've missed a tackle.
You think that's happening? You think they're going for that too quick instead of
I mean,
I'm asking.
They've even said it a little bit,
Interesting.
I think that if all that stuff's fixable without having to like make major changes, we're not saying, hey, go out and do something completely different that you haven't,
right?
So
there's nothing major,
but it is about cleaning up things.
Yeah.
I will say that when I look at the next three games, so here I'll mention who they are here and give me your thoughts here. But we have two road games at Purdue, at Indiana, and then we have Rutgers in the middle. At home. Is there any one of those games that would worry you more than another? I have a clear one for me, but
I don't know. Maybe either Indiana or Rutgers. I mean, they both of them. Indiana's had a pretty good run so far this year. I don't know who's got the mobile quarterback. Which one of the two?
Oh, I haven't even. I don't know. Rutgers is more fit, definitely going to be a downhill running game. They're going to be more physical in that sense.
I don't think that's going to be successful all year long against us.
That's what I guess. That's what we need to see.
Right.
To me, that's an important one. Is that we have got to be able.
I just don't even know why it's successful now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that should be fixable. Maybe I'm wrong. And I don't know if we'll get a good test. Well, yeah, we'll get a good test of that this week. They've got big running backs at Purdue. Where they're going to try to run at us, I think, to some extent.
Yeah. Ortwin Steam. Indiana seems to be playing good football. We'll need to see how they look versus Maryland. Rutgers is likely going to try the Illinois UNI offensive scheme. I agree there. Anthony says Rutgers has the far superior running back. Just from a physicality. Just from a physicality standpoint, I mean, Rutgers, it would be the one that they don't scare me from a talent or, program standpoint, but the scheme and the style of play seems to be kind of our bugaboo right now, as opposed to we looked amazing against UTEP or Colorado playing a completely different style. UTEP, we can talk about how good UTEP is, but Colorado, for what it's worth, has gone on to be 3-1. They beat Baylor last week. They certainly have an improved defense. They have plenty of talent on offense, so that's not an issue. And yet that it was that physicality that we look like, we matched up well. So this is a matchup thing. I think from that perspective, I still feel very good about how we would match up with an Indiana, how we would match up with a Purdue. Rutgers, we have to prove that we can take on a team that, wants to just run it right at you.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. We can start proving it this week. We need to be a little bit. We need to be a little bit more bullyish in our football. We need to be a little meaner in how we play. We're already making stupid penalties, but we're not being mean about it. So it's like we don't even get that right, But I don't want stupid penalties. I want physical play. I want some nastiness in the tackle. I want teams to kind of hate having to come play us. I mean, to me, that's physical. To me, that's like when you look across the line of scrimmage, your body already is kind of like, oh, this is going to suck, and I do think we have guys back there that can do that. I mean, Ty and the polar bear, come on, those guys are huge. Jamari's big and physical. We have guys that can do this.
We have guys that have done this.
Exactly.
So it's
like, all right, hit a road bump here. Maybe they were tired from the short week. Maybe they hadn't really adjusted to. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I don't really care. Like
no excuses, right?
Yeah, but
no
all right,
excuses.
All right, that game's in the past. It happened. You lost. It sucked. Should have won. You should have won. Everybody who watched that game knows who should have won the game. We didn't do it for all of the reasons that we do, that we tend to stumble. Not all Matt Rule's fault, but you can't help it for the overlap. Sorry. We've been watching the same team. You're a new coach, but it's the same team to us. So you fix it this week. We see something better. We can chill out a little bit. But it's hard to not have some type of feeling about the way we just lost that game. It's tough because this team felt like we wanted to love them so much, like they were ready to go and be set free into the Big Ten and represent themselves. And this was a very timid start to the Big Ten season for us. It was timid, and that part bothered me. We looked a little like, let's see how this goes a little, and there's no way to play at home.
The 400th game. Yep.
Come on.
400 salt.
That's a bad look, guys. That's a bad look, guys. It is. They got to get on that. You can fix it. We can fix it, but it's a bad look.
All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. After this, we're going to talk about how we can fix it.
So to our friends in and around the Omaha area, there's a cool event. If you want to go see Dane Cook, who's a comedian, if you don't know that, on his tour, Fresh New Flavor, that'll be Sunday, September 29th at 7:30 at Steelhouse Omaha. You can get your tickets at steelhouseomaha.com. That's STEELHOUSE, omaha.com. So he'll be performing at Steelhouse Omaha. It's a part of the OPA's, is it OPA's? Art and Entertainment Campus near the Holland Center in downtown Omaha. So they have a live music venue. It opened in May 2023 and can have a capacity of 3,000 people. So it's located at 1100 Dodge Street. So between 11th and 12th Street on Dodge Street and Capitol Ave. Again, that is Sunday, September 29th at 7:30. And get your tickets at steelhouseomaha.com.
Dane Todd, still has.
Let's go.
Yeah. So Ortman Steam here, he goes, do you have a good chance that either or both Rutgers and Indiana could be ranked when we play them? So have a chance to get that ranked win yet this season. Yep.
Thank you, Michael. Or Urban Schmeen.
Yeah.
No, I like that idea. I like it a lot. We got to keep moving forward, guys. The season's still young. We can still have a good year out of this. Well, Dylan's fun to watch, even in a loss. That dude's making plays that you've never seen before.
Yes, that I talk about the run pass stuff, but when he is passing, it is fun to watch. And he makes some great throws.
It's like the only time you're like, okay, drop him back. I don't mind. Like it's gotten to the point now where you're like, I kind of want to see what he's going to do. And I'm still in that kind of honeymoon phase with him where it's like he almost can't throw it enough for me. because of just how, especially if he's getting time. Now, if he's getting rushed all the time and running out of the pocket, shit like that, I don't want to see a bunch of that. But like when it's in game flow and he drops back to pass, there's been a baseline anxiety since Zach Taylor left about any time a quarterback dropped back to pass for me, because it was always a bit of an adventure. And he's one of those guys where it's like, I hope he throws a bomb. I hope he arcs it up there, because we're so close on those. It's about to happen. Anyway, sorry for the positivity.
Tony's already tired of us. He said, for anyone interested, the game is on BTN right now. So just turn away from
Jeez, dude.
turn away from Match Rule. You can
Man.
turn on BTN. You can watch the game.
Friends like these.
I
Look at the numbers drop off. We got like 10 people on now. Actually, no one's tuning into that game.
I want to see us come out and try to. In fact, it was something I really hadn't paid attention to until this last game, when they show the team coming out of the tunnel, that they have all the writing on the side of the tunnel. And there's different, philosophies and stuff, but one of them is be the most physical team.
Okay.
And I mean, to me, I want to see us come out of a game that way.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the passing thing I'm focusing on a little bit too much, is that I didn't see us in this game on offense come out right away, pulling tight ends and putting the guys in motion, doing some of the things that we broke down on film, and really trying to hit that right away, pound them away, try to be a physical team offensively, bring that approach right away from the first play of the game. And then, by the way, let Dylan break off of that.
Yeah.
You get a run game going under you. We've always said, hey, look how much better the run game goes when the pass game is working. But how about creating a run game at the beginning and then
a strong
play
run,
actioning and everything off of that too?
A strong run game developed early would make Dylan impossible, honestly.
Yeah. And so it's that physicality on offense. Well, then the same thing goes on defense there. Again, we're giving up 5.5 yards on first down. Not many teams are going to win that. If you're giving up more than half of what it takes to get a first down on first down,
it's tough.
You're going to be giving up a lot of second and third downs, and you're going to be extending drives. You're going to be getting tired, and eventually teams are going to score some points on you. And all the cool things that Tony White gets to do with this 3-3-5, all the different blitzes and packages, they kind of get nullified when you're in the wrong side of the down and distance. When you're in 2nd and 5 and 3rd and 2s, you're just not able to bring the same kind of pressure in the same different ways. And I think that has shown at times this year. We've just found ourselves in bad down distances defensively.
One of the cool things he could try with it is to get off the field on third down. That would be, like we get those. There's been some third and fairly decents, over 7, I'd say. There's been a high conversion rate just thrown over the middle against us, and it's irritating. It's been an irritating defense a couple games in a row now, and I just wasn't expecting that. I wasn't ready for that. That was the thing I thought we could count on this year pretty easily.
Keep talking.
It's fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna turn it around. I mean, I really think we can, but it's just, it was so nice 3 weeks in a row to go to work, and like Twitter was fun, YouTube was fun, every place was fun. You lose these games after you get invested a little bit. It's like, man, I don't have any other, like, your algorithm's all screwed up. It's all set to Husker stuff, so you just have to keep skipping things. Can't find anything to watch. It's miserable.
Well, we're 4 games in the season, a third of the way done. I look at volleyball for a moment.
Okay.
And volleyball is a different beast, right? I mean, we know how good they are. We know that they are, playing at the top of their game, but they got shut out, 3-0, swept by, at that time, it was an unranked SMU team.
Oh my God.
And there were fans that were up in arms and losing their head but that team has gotten better. Get back to your point about improving in season and figuring out the right lineups and all that, to the point where last week, as we lose our football game, but there's 2 sweeps of 2 top 5 teams.
Yep.
So the one thing we can, you said, can we get better during the season? That's a non-negotiable right now. I mean, in fact, we have to. And everything that Rule is building is a team that's a developmental program that keeps getting better weekend. And he's said it all the time that, he wants to be the toughest team to be at the end of the season. He said that before the season started. By the end, we're playing our best. So I think we're at a good point, 4 games in the season, a third of the way through, this is where I brought up some of the stats.
Pick them up.
Let's see here, actually, if I can.
Can you superimpose them?
Yeah, let's put these up here. Yeah, share that. Okay, so let's see if I can make them that much bigger.
Oh, nice.
All right, so offensively here right now we've thrown for 1,047 yards. We've given up 770. Okay, yeah. So defense is on the right side here.
Okay.
We're over here. So we've thrown for 1,047, 92 of 127. I mean, that's a great completion percentage. There's nothing again, Dylan. It's
8.24 is a pretty good.
8
number.
touchdowns to 2 passes.
I just meant the yards per.
Yeah, 8.24 per attempt.
Throw it more. I guess that's what we're saying.
Well, right now here's
once we get to the rushing. Well, that's not even that bad.
Here's rushing 562. I mean, we're about just a little over half that. Attempts 137 rushing attempts, 127 passing attempts.
Okay.
Through 4 games.
Pretty fitty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty close. Some of those, got changed recently. If this game would have went differently, I'm sure the yards or the rushing attempts would have been way higher than the passing attempts. This game was kind of odd in the worst possible way.
Third down conversions 26 of 51. We've given up 20 of 53, and again,
we've only lost 1 fumble. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Field goal attempts 6. Why is it not? No, 4 of 6. Yeah, there we go.
Feels worse.
It feels worse.
Why does 4 of 6 sound like good, but it feels terrible?
Especially the 2 that we missed were both very makeable ones.
I
think.
What's our punting average?
45
that seems
a quarter. That's not bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably pretty terrible podcast stuff right here. You guys want to just scroll stats with us?
Yeah, Angus, let's go. Stop by, say hey. How you doing,
What up,
Angus?
what up?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's things I liked. Dylan's play continues to improve. Ramirez kind of starting to, I think, make some plays. I really think Ramirez doing all right. The bottom line is we're kind of dinged up front. We got to address that. We got to figure out what they're going to do with Mazuka. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Gatula. They got to figure out what the line's going to look like. So that's step 1 is make sure that is ready to go. And then on the defensive side of things, it's just a matter of decide what kind of defense you're going to be. You got all these guys coming back. You say you came back for all the right reasons. Well, now's the time. And I think they're good kids. I think they'll probably rise up to it. I don't know what to chuck last week up to other than it's football and these things happen. But you get back on the horse. All your goals are still within sight. There's plenty to play for, and I'm going to trust that we finally have a staff that can improve mid-year, and I will find out within the next 2 games if they can or if they can't.
Again, I really think that this weekend we're going to learn a lot by how this team reacts, goes on the road, plays a very winnable game on the road, and we get to watch Illinois go and play at Penn State. I think the combination of those are 2 real good measuring sticks to make something out of what happened last week.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if we go and do what we should do against Purdue and Illinois plays a very good game against Penn State or even beats Penn State, let's say for a second.
All right.
Then we're sitting here looking back at this show right now going, what are we complaining about? We lost by a touchdown in overtime to a really good team. That's the thing.
You complain about the overthrow
and
the penalties.
Yeah. And every team, every fan base says those same things about their team after a loss, right?
I 100% agree.
This is one thing I did take out of that game when I was looking at social media kind of throughout the first half and, third quarter and stuff. I was paying attention to a couple different accounts that are not Husker fans, that are not Illinois fans.
Okay.
They're just football fans, college football fans. And the amount of people that said, wow, this is a really good game. This is an entertaining game.
Yeah.
This is a well-played game. Like those people don't feel the same angst with every little, we see every mistake our team
No,
makes.
that's so true.
Then I'll go and
That's super true.
I'll go watch, the Ravens play the Jets or something, whatever, right? I'm watching some game I couldn't care less about.
Right.
And I'm sure those same mistakes are being made by both teams. And I bet their fan bases are losing their minds. And I'm just watching it going, this is an entertaining game.
Yeah, no, I think that's
7-7. Like, this was an entertaining game. And it goes down to overtime.
Yeah.
We had ample amount of opportunities to not just win it, but we had opportunities to pull away.
Yep.
We're that close away to the touchdown that gets, overturned.
The defense did produce a turnover, and that
defense
could have been a clutch moment.
The defense was producing turnovers. We were still up on turnover, the turnover margin. So even those things.
So those things have
really
gotten better.
important.
Okay, for example, of things that have improved.
Yeah.
The turnover margin is definitely better this year.
Yeah.
That looks better. The quarterback play is definitely better. The wide receiver play, I guess I'd have to say, is definitely better. You might argue the blocking takes that down a peg or two, and I would agree, but I still think overall wide receiver plays better this year. So on the defensive side of things, I don't know. There's it's not like bad play all over the place, and it's not. The defense is hard for me to evaluate.
The one thing with some of the aggression too, maybe the defense at times that we've gotten beat on pick plays where they've rolled out. We saw that a week ago where they have a guy on the outside and our guy on the inside gets picked in and it's an easy completion. And maybe there are, maybe some teams have started to use some of the aggressive play that we have against us, and maybe, and I don't know what that looks like. I'm not trying to claim to be, Tony White and I have the answers. I don't know. Do you switch up and do some more zone in some situations? They'll figure it. I have no options. Doubt. I have no doubt that this staff will figure out the issues that they're having.
It should all be pretty fixable. It's good for Tony White. It's good for his career moving forward. A little struggle mid-season. Let's see how he adjusts in a time where we need him to adjust. Why don't we? I don't know where we at. How much time we've been at? 42. So we got time for one. I guess we should probably talk about do we want to talk about special teams?
Well, we've hit on special teams a little bit, and of course we don't have Boomer here, our special teams coordinator, to really walk us through.
Special teams are exactly what everybody thinks they are: unsettled, unreliable.
This is
total wild card.
This is what's so frustrating about special teams right now. Is I know they're putting the emphasis into it.
Total wild card.
Alvano gets hurt, which that sucks, right? They got the kid that we wanted when we got Alvano. That was he had an unbelievable championship game and inside Memorial Stadium. They got the kid they wanted. This year, I thought they brought in some good competition.
Yeah.
When I went to that open practice in early August. Alvano wasn't kicking, but the other two guys were, and they were kicking from the 45 or about 45 yards out each. And I think they missed the first one. Excuse me. They missed the first one. Then they routed off like 8 or 9 in a row. And I was like, I was feeling pretty good. And that was in real kicks. They had an actual rush coming and everything. And I'm sitting there going, well, that's two kickers not named Alvano that seem to be at least able to make some 45-yarders and stuff. Right. And I get it. It's, now you're on national TV and there's, a full crowd but it felt like they're not just sitting there. The coaches aren't just sitting there on their thumbs going, well, it's Alvano or bust. They have Buscemi there, but then they go and they bring in Cook. And so we've got 2 scholarship punters on the team right now. Mm-hmm. They are putting emphasis into it. It just, for whatever reason, we just,
listen, it
has to get better. And they take steps forward in certain places. We've blocked a field goal. The way we're returning and fielding punts,
right? That's a really underrated amount of yardage he's saving us that has resulted in direct points on positive. So that is better. There's just the main thing when you look at special, it only takes one thing to go bad for all the special teams to be like, this is garbage all the way through. The coach should be fired. But the thing is, it really is just field goal kicking.
But
I guess you could say coverage.
No, it was what was it? It was the last game or 2 games ago where Rule said, he goes, that's the worst special teams game I've ever coached. Yeah. And you and I afterwards, because that was part of the intro of that show, and you and I afterwards were like rattling off 2 or 3 really positive things that happened in special teams. Right. But rule.
You miss a field goal though. It's like God,
Just-
F minus. It really doesn't matter. You miss a field goal. Even a block punt isn't as bad sometimes as a missed field goal, like at least for Nebraska fans at this point. There's
So-
just some things we're so burnt out on seeing.
Yeah.
And one score losses is one of them, and missed field goals is another. Like, had we lost some other way, I don't know, but it just seems like that is just we're just so exhausted.
We just want to end some streaks, and you win. That,
I don't want to hear about it anymore.
You win. That's the.
I want Dylan to get a haircut so they stop talking about him being Mahomes, and I want us to win a ranked opponent game at home with the like a single score deficit or margin that we win, with a pick six going the other way.
Yeah.
Something that just removes everything.
A 1-score win last weekend ends that streak. It beats a ranked opponent, in the stadium, everything. There's just so many different things it accomplishes. And yet at the end of the day, what we said going into the Ohio State game was that we wanted to be bowl eligible. That's still completely in front of us. I'm not overlooking a single team. I'm not saying they're going to be easy games or anything along those lines, but it's still completely doable there. And they've just got to keep getting better. Now I've got a couple of Genghis corn ones here from Rule on down. You can see they are pissed. I think the chip is there and it's heavy. Nebraska is worse. Fans crying about an OT loss. This is not a Frost team. And he goes, Brent Maher is on staff. He'll get it figured out. Brett. Yep. I might have said Brent. I might have said Brent, but no, he wrote it correctly. So anyway, we called this show on to Purdue, and it's pretty much been 45 minutes of us.
And on now to Purdue.
On to Purdue.
The Boilermakers do not know what they have in store. You know what? That sounds good. A Boilermaker. Every touchdown we score, Boilermaker. I have to work. That won't be a very good idea. But a victory. It's late. What time's kickoff for this game?
So kickoff is going to be 11 a.m. and it's on Peacock.
Gross.
It's on Peacock.
Jeez. I got to check and see if my subscription's up to date. Have you? For Peacock? Are you lined up? Are you set up?
I think I might head to Columbus anyways this weekend and my sister.
Family road trip thing?
Yeah.
Does Beth have the Peacock?
Yeah, my sister, she has Peacock there, and I think we might go over to watch it. They're just to give a little update on Purdue. They are 1-2 on the season. They started the year August 31st, beating Indiana State 49-0.
Nice.
And then they got the wrath. For some reason, they had a bye week right after that.
Awful. That's terrible news.
And then had Notre Dame, which was coming off the loss to Northern Illinois. Notre Dame came there and beat them 66-7. And then last week, Purdue went out to Corvallis, play Oregon State.
Jeez.
They lost 38-21.
That's quite the flight.
Yeah. They were preseason ranked 17th or 18th in the Big Ten out of 18 teams.
Okay. Yeah.
17th or 18th. And they haven't really done much to show anything different than that through 3 games. So again, this is an opportunity.
It should be a get-right game.
It should be a get-right game. Notre Dame made it a get-right game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're as good as Notre Dame, but they made it a get-right game. I think Nebraska needs to be able to make it a get-right game.
If we beat them 66-7, though.
Well, I don't know.
We're better than Notre Dame.
Yeah. That would be the benchmark, 66-7. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Boilermaker for every TV. Be ready to drink a lot.
Hey, man, I am. It's just work is not ready for me, too. They're so bad about that.
Coach Steen, Purdue is not good. Probably the best team to play coming off a disappointing loss to try to right things. Yeah. And
I'm fine with that. I'm okay with little schedule love. I don't care.
Yeah.
We need wins. We need momentum. We need to get our heads right. And we need the season to continue. Good vibes. Hey, do any of you guys really give a shit as long as we're winning games? It's like, it doesn't have to be perfect either. Like it can be, there can be some like less than noble victories along the way that I will just eat up because we just need to start gathering wins again as a program to get to wash out all the losing, really.
Yeah. Nebraska, I'll say one thing. I don't love a home Friday night game. And I know there are others that felt the same way. I think that there's Nebraska will play some Friday night games during the seasons, coming forward. But I think that there might be ways that they don't do them in Lincoln after this. It was tough. It was tough on campus. It was tough on downtown. It's tough to hold one of those games at night on a Friday. And I'll just say we benefited by having a huge audience for a game that, although preseason, I would say that game probably wasn't predicted to have that kind of audience. As the season went on, we had two undefeated teams that were both ranked. So, that it gave for a good show too. But obviously, all that said, playing that in Lincoln on a Friday night, that's not Black Friday. Nebraska every other year will always have a home Friday game because we'll always play Iowa on a Black Friday. But boy, it's tough to do that there. And so
I don't usually make too much of that, but I do think
it's not an excuse.
Yeah,
it's not an excuse. Let me be very clear there.
But that wasn't the team I thought that was going to come out of the tunnel. They just looked a little bit different to me. And maybe it's because I was so useless at work during that first. I tried so hard to not do anything but watch the game. It was difficult. It was difficult on both sides, really, because I missed a lot of the game and I missed a lot of work. And I wasn't served, and I was just getting more and more pissed. Like, because the defensive series were so long. I'm like, okay, I'm watching. All right, third down. Right, give another first down. I'm like, going to run over there and like see if anybody was on the floor. No, I was kidding. No, but it was just, I hate those games. I'm tired of night games. I want some daytime games. A little.
Yeah, this is the opposite of like 3 or 4 years ago when every game was 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And we were complaining about that. Like, you work nights, you're like, give me a damn 11 a.m. game.
I don't mind those. I don't even mind the 3 o'clocks because I can go home and go to bed right away. Actually, those are probably the best. But I understand her a lot. Give me the 11 o'clock. By the way, I made a whole big 3 pounds worth of hamburger meat at chili tonight before I left.
The best
if
chili.
you're in Lincoln tonight,
The best chili is
if you're in Lincoln tonight, it is absolutely a perfect like fall football night. It's absolutely gorgeous outside. There's a little bite in the air. It smells great.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, there's a lot of good things going on right now. It's still early football season. We're still got a pretty good team. Dylan Raiola is the MF in truth.
Yes.
Like that kid's legit. We all know that. The only reason we're all extra pissed off is because we think we have a really good quarterback that could do some special things this year. And all we got to do is surround him with some decent play. And that's still true.
Yeah.
It's still really true.
Yeah.
This guy's making throws and putting the ball in places that we've never seen before. And I'm like, it will take him exactly 1 year. Yeah. 1 year of playing at this level to come back next year and be at the top of the charts for so many quarterbacks returning. Mark it down. It's probably already happened. I'm not even really setting a precedent, but like he's going to come back as one of the top quarterbacks as long as we do the bare minimum to make him keep him upright and keep him in games.
Yep. E. Ortwin Steam. Sorry. The network who signed $1 billion checks will probably insist on more Nebraska on Friday appearances. Maybe not in Lincoln, but expect more in the future. Yeah, Troy Dan, he sent a letter to the Big Ten requesting Nebraska not to host
some of that's
Friday
Raiola
games
by himself,
except over Thanksgiving.
The people want to see this kid play. They really, really do. He's a phenomenon, man. I'm like he's a different player than we've had because we haven't had this level of a guy in this era of football yet, and they're going to want to take advantage of that. I mean, Shadur's gone next year. Who are the superstars coming back? Yeah, that's right. I'm calling him a superstar. We have a superstar quarterback, and we got his brother to commit.
Yeah, how about that, man? Dayton.
Welcome aboard, man.
Yeah, I think, we talk about how good Dylan is and giving him a run game, a solid run game.
Total necessity.
Yeah, and you talk about putting a year under him. Like, think of a guy like Jamarian Parker next year coming in.
I do.
From St. Louis.
I think about him all the time. He's on my NCAA team.
That probably, we don't have a game breaker necessarily running back, but we have enough guys between, I love what Dowdell brings just on in between the tackles thing. I think, I think Emmett's shown to be a great, third hitter, after you've had Ramir and Dowdell going at him, and then you get Emmett out there.
I thought Emmett was going to be a bigger factor early in the season. He was my pick in the offseason to be the number one back. And I was like, well, man, I was dead wrong about that shit. But like he's starting
just because Dowdell, I think,
he's
surprised
starting to,
everyone.
I don't hate a running back situation.
No,
I don't
that's
love
the
our
thing.
running game, but I don't hate a running back situation.
Yeah.
We just have to. The thing is, when our offense is working really well, it seems like we score in like about 6 or 7 plays. You know, it just seems to get downfield quickly.
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to. And then we sort of shut it down in the second half, so we don't run the ball like we should. I don't know. This
just
offense,
think
it's a
our
weird team so far.
We're at our best offensively when you've got a lot of pre-snap stuff going on, the motions and then when they're snapping, you got guys going the other direction.
Multiple tight ends on the field.
Multiple tight ends on the field. And we're not just simply dropping back. It's not just drop back. There's so many times that we've been able to get Dylan just a little bit on the move or play action rolls, and that seemed to be effective. I just felt like we were going away from some of that in this game, even early on. And maybe that's just me. I don't know. Well, I watch the game sometimes with different glasses where if I don't see the offense going the way I like, I just assume that we're not running the ball enough. But I mean, those stats there and those numbers it's hard to lie there.
It's yeah. Well, listen, what do you think?
Let's go to parting shots.
Yeah, let's just do it. You go first. Matt?
I go first.
Honky, what are your parting shots for tonight?
Very optimistic. So it feels like it's after a loss. I don't know what people want to hear after a loss.
Nothing.
Like, you don't want us to, if we come out here and say everything's great, then we get called the Kool-Aid guys. And we are trying to say you got to move on from Purdue. Like at the end of the day, never let one loss lead into 2. And that's something that I think that's a reference even
to
how I
live my life.
Well, and that's kind of a reference to the volleyball team. There's a lot of very upset fans when Nebraska got swept. How could you get swept at SMU, an unranked team? They were very upset fans.
It was a debacle. That point.
It was a debacle. All those things. And the team just got better. And some of the things that they probably should have been doing better right away in the season that they weren't, they just started doing better. And I think there's some things this team has demonstrated in previous years. They've demonstrated the ability to stop the run, to be a solid tackling team, we've got to be able to run the ball on offense. There's just certain things we've got to be able to do. We've shown some of that in the past, and they just got to do it. There's opponents that deserve credit, and I think Illinois deserves credit. They deserve respect. That I'll just say I didn't give them.
Ass team. They're a pain in the ass team. They've been.
Bielema knows how to win very close games like that. We've got to learn how to win.
I don't hate Illinois for beating us. They did a good job. They really did a good job. There's not one thing. They weren't dirty. They played a pretty clean game. They were smart. That was a good victory by them.
Genghis, come on, guys. No one is happy, but it's already Tuesday. Next week, 1-0 on to Purdue. LFG GBR. Yeah! Yes!
Long field goal? What's that?
Long field goal.
Long field goal.
Let's.
Oh, LFG. Heavens. I like long field goal, though, too. Hey, how long field goal? By the way, did you see this last week? This crap again? Hey, students. Knock this shit off. This is for 3 and out.
You don't do 3
out.
You don't do 3 and out after 3 plays. After 3 plays have already been gone.
There was so many. Oh.
It tries.
Somebody has to step up in the student body and make an announcement because you all look ridiculous. I don't know why more people aren't making fun of us nationally. It's so stupid. That wasn't
3 and out.
That wasn't even my parting shot. Okay, but I'm not going to stop talking about that.
No. You're heck bent on letting people know that 3 and out means 3 and out.
You know what? That's fine. That was a good enough parting shot. I agreed with everything you said about the team. We've got plenty of potential. Things will get better. I trust in the coaches. It's going to be a great year, guys. And then eventually we'll be able to get cocky again, and we'll start to be able to dream big again, and we'll make ridiculous predictions. It's going to be awesome. Season's young. Cheers.
Let's go 1-0 this week, and we'll come back next week and talk about a victory against Purdue. Until then, Matt's Rule. GBR.
I don't even know what.
Herd at Sports Network production.